I didn't think fragrances this good existed until I tried these and then realized, you know what? Things are still improving. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, we live in an age of excess. Like, everything is just, there's so much of everything now. I mean, really, it's not just fragrances as far as like this hobby, but so many other hobbies. There's just so much stuff. But specifically talking fragrances, obviously we're in a time where it's flankers, flankers, flankers. And so when you're seeing this many flankers, you start to question, you know, are they any good or not, you know? And so when I've tried these, I've realized that, well, yep, they definitely are, at least these ones. There are plenty flankers that aren't so good and aren't justifiable for the price, but these definitely are, so we'll talk about that. Really quickly, I'm just gonna drop all the links to these down below, make it super easy for you to pick them up. Now this first one is gonna be a Zaro Forever Wanted Elixir. I love Wanted by Night, I love the Most Wanted Parfum. Those are a couple of my favorites, and when Wanted by Night came out, it was such a big improvement to the original. I thought, you know what, this is the best Wanted. Who knows if they're gonna be able to top this, right? And they came out with the Most Wanted, and then I'm like, yeah, that's good. And then the Most Wanted Parfum came out, and I'm like, okay, they might have topped Wanted by Night. So now it was like, okay, the Most Wanted Parfum is my favorite, okay? And then now Forever Wanted Elixir came out, and now I'm like, they might have done it again. This might become one of my new favorites. I definitely have my top three. This one has raspberry and leather as two of the main accords, which is really a great mixture, and it's starting to become a little bit more common now, made popular and you know, and a very expensive Tom Ford scent that I think we all know about, but this is nothing like that at all. Very sweet, and also nothing like really any of the other Wanteds, which is a little bit interesting. You know, Wanted by Night tied back to the original to some extent, but the further they've gone with these flankers, the farther away they have deviated from that original Wanted, which I'm kind of okay with. I mean, I like when flankers tie back to the original to some extent, but when you get this deep into it and they just keep getting further and further away, hey, that is what it is. It kind of makes you wonder why they didn't just start up a new line, but we kind of know why anyway. Really good performance out of this parfum. It's great performing. It's right around $95 to $100 on discounters right now. That's cheaper than retail, of course, but it still isn't like really affordable just yet, at least in comparison to the others. But at some point it will be. I mean, the Most Wanted Parfum hung around at this price for quite a while, and now it's dropped down into like the $70 range sometimes. So that will happen with this. It's just probably going to take a good year or two. So, you know, you can get it now, or you can wait a couple years to get it and save $30. I know the choice I would probably make. I would get it now. It's a really good scent. Although you don't need to get it right now. You can wait till like December or something, November maybe, but definitely get it at some point for this upcoming winter. This next one is the wonderful looking Les Beaux Paradise Garden. I love that. Green's my favorite color, and that emerald green is really, really cool. And also, of course, the scent is admirable and very popular when it first came out. Surprising, but also not. Surprising in the way that it immediately took off. I knew that pretty much any Les Beaux flanker would be popular because Les Beaux and Le Male, just Jean Paul Gaultier in general, is really popular, really trendy right now, and so anything they put out is going to do well. But this one, it was just like overnight. The second it was announced, people were just going crazy for it. The second it dropped on discounters for the first time, we're talking an immediate sellout. I did get an email out, notified my email subscribers, but man, it didn't last long. At this point now, luckily, it's readily available, and you're talking sometimes 125 ml testers with cap for like $99 to $100. So really, really reasonably priced in comparison to the rest of the Les Beaux, and also given the fact that at one point earlier on, like this year / last year, it was really, really hyped up. So this one does have that kind of minty geranium opening, so it is very green as you would expect, but then you still get some of that watery coconut, slight sweet type of smell that you get from the original. It's just a bit fresher, quite a bit more green. I find it to be perfect for spring, just because, again, that green smell that I keep referencing here, that's very indicative of everything coming back to life and the temperature's finally starting to warm up and everything is thawing out a bit. So spring would be my number one pick for when I like to wear this one, but you could kind of sneak it in here and there in summertime as well if you wanted to. Really enjoy this one. I love how it smells. It's a great performer and it's easy to get now, so something worth looking into. All right, this next one, Armani Stronger With You, absolutely. We have quite a few flankers at this point, you know, from some exclusive editions to Intensely and Freeze, which was discontinued, but we did have it at one point, all over the place, right? And then I'm missing one. Stronger With You Only was yet another one. And then, of course, the newest Parfum. But yeah, a lot to choose from. Absolutely is still my number one. It's still the one that I look to the most and really enjoy the most. I think it is probably the most well-rounded. And in second place, honestly, would probably be the Parfum, although the Absolutely just wins it for me any day. At this point, $100, but there was a point a few years ago, couldn't get it anywhere. Couldn't even buy it at retail if you wanted to. Couldn't get it at discounters, nothing. Not the case anymore, no need to worry there. $100, but sometimes I've seen it for less too. It does have rum, it has chestnut, so a little bit of a boozy alcohol take on that original DNA. Stronger, a bit sweeter, but also a little bit more mature and refined as well, which is a big bonus. To me, this is the one to get. Not saying that the others are bad, I'm just saying that this is the one I would get. All right, this next one is, to me, still to this day, is incredible in the sense that there's nothing else like it. Now, it has been cloned a couple of times, which is cool, but other than that, there's just something really fascinating about this to me. Okay, it's YSL La Nuit de l'Homme. And also, what I wanted to say was, it's like really dropped in price. So 100 ml bottles now, not this size, obviously, you know, half of this, 100 ml bottles are going for $65 right now. I haven't seen it that low in forever. There was still a point just even a couple years ago where standard going rate, even on discounters, all across the board was $80 minimum. And sometimes you were even paying a little bit more just for regular La Nuit de l'Homme, which has been around for so many years now. Don't know what happened, but it's dropped a lot. And even here recently, it was dropped down to $61 for a small time during some sale, and then it's back up to $65 now. Not a huge jump there, but I mean, just to see it at $61 from a reputable source was something I hadn't seen in forever. So really cool. And so I just wanted to feature that and say, hey, you can get it for a good price. Most people have it, but if you don't, now would be probably a good time to get it. But the cardamom lavender mixture that this one has is so unique. It smells amazing. And there's, again, just to say it one more time, nothing else like it. It's warm, spicy, alluring, addicting, kind of mysterious smelling. It is the number one date night scent that you can buy, even today in 2025. It is that good. Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum is definitely a familiar face. You definitely know about it, you've heard of it, probably have it. And if you don't have it, you've smelled it. Even if you don't know if you have or not, you've smelled somebody wearing Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum at some point. It's that guy, right? It's that popular. This stuff has been around. Now, again, that's not a bad thing here. I think at this point, actually, it's off of that hill. So it really got popular, really got hyped up. What happened? I mean, well, flankers happened. Not in the Bleu de Chanel lineup, of course, but every other designer brand ever started pumping out a new flanker every year, or one or two every year. And people are wearing that stuff now. People aren't really wearing old Bleu de Chanel EDP anymore. And so now would be your time to maybe pick the bottle back up and start wearing it again. You might stand out a little bit more now. Is it anything special anymore? Probably not. You're probably desensitized to it. But when this first came out, more specifically the original Bleu de Chanel, but just talking about the EDP here, when it first came out, it was just kind of in a world of its own. Nothing else like it. And even though there are a lot of things like it now, there's still something charming about this smell that I think will always exist. And I still remember getting my first bottle. It wasn't this. It was actually a tiny little 50 ml bottle of Bleu de Chanel. The first one I ever got, and I was just so over the moon excited about it. And it still kind of brings that memory back, but definitely an iconic, timeless DNA that simply gets the job done. Let's go for something like Prada L'Homme Low. You hear about the original here and there. I love Prada L'Homme Intense, as you guys probably know. It's a fantastic one. Leather and tonka bean and stuff, kind of more winter leaning. Prada L'Homme Low, this is going to be more summer leaning. It does have the powdery notes, it does have the iris, and a nice citrus and musk. Citrus off the top, musk later on. Going to be fresher and brighter. Now the original Prada L'Homme can definitely be worn in the summertime, but I think this would be the option I would go for instead. And what I love about modest lines like this, what do I mean by that? I mean just there aren't 20 flankers. You've got 3 in production, 4 total, Prada L'Homme Absolute out of the picture. Prada L'Homme Original, kind of your standard all year round signature scent. Prada L'Homme Low could be your dedicated go-to summer scent. Prada L'Homme Intense, your dedicated fall winter version. You've got basically every season, every situation covered within 3 fragrances from one lineup, and they're all reasonably priced. They're all under $100 a pop. That's really cool, and there's no extra fluff and extra stuff to worry about. Absolute is one that was pretty good, kind of on the sweeter direction as well, but again, that one's discontinued. It's just cool to see lines like this that still exist, because so many fragrance lines these days are just out of hand and kind of hard to keep up with, but not the Prada L'Homme lineup. So cool, really cool on them. Prada L'Homme Low, great for the summer season. And speaking of a fragrance line that's kind of out of control, but I'm okay with it, and they've also really cleaned house. Acqua di Gio Elixir. You know, they still have a lot going on, because they're also like re-releasing stuff now. Like they're coming out with a new Profondo, you know, and they're coming out with a new Acqua di Gio EDT, and I mean, they're doing stuff like that, which makes things a little bit confusing. But at the core, you still have EDT, EDP, Parfum, and then Profondo, and now the Elixir, and I'm sure I'm missing one or two, but that's kind of the general idea. They've condensed things, and there's plenty of discontinued ones, but it's still pretty extensive. And this Elixir version has grown on me a lot. It didn't make sense to me at first, and it still doesn't fully, but I like it. I like how it smells. It wouldn't be my, idea. It wouldn't be how I would approach an Elixir. I would have probably done it a bit differently. But it smells great, and it does have a bit of leather. It is going to be a bit heavier, a little bit heavier than the Parfum even, but just still plenty of brightness too. A little bit of a floral component. It's just still very much a balancing act. It's expensive, and that's my main gripe with it. This is let's double check. It's a 50 ml, so not even a 60 ml, right? They're really trimming down 50 ml, and it's, $120 or so. Sometimes maybe a little less than that, and that's discounters. Retail is like $160, so definitely not paying that. Grab it on discounters for less. Still a good one though. I really do like it. It's just, it's expensive. And if you don't want to spend this much, Parfum, Profondo, grab one of those. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Sometimes, when I think everything is kind of boring, I go smell these and I realize, hey, a lot of these are new releases and they're still putting out some really good stuff. I think this year and even last year have been 2 really solid years for fragrances. I mean, really some good stuff has come out of them. I'll link everything down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.